Hi. Before we get on with the show, I'd just like to advertise the fact that Automated Creative are hiring account people of different levels. So if you would like to be at the forefront of digital advertising, working on accounts like Reckitt, P&G, Unilever, Mondelez, Mars, Beiersdorf, Nivea, GSK, Cancer Research, wow, then please drop me a line and let's chat. My email is tom@automatedcreative.net. Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and this is a weekly show where brands watch other brands' ads and discuss what's good and bad about them. This week, the ads was helped to be chosen by Contagious, so please go to contagious.com and check those guys out after the show. But before we get to that ad, let's meet this week's guests.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hunt, marketing, branding, and events for Johnson&Johnson Innovation.
Hi, my name is Blake Mascali, and I am the Global Director of Content at Honeywell.
And hi, my name is Michel Rothschild. I'm a creative contractor at D3, the creative in-house agency.
Fantastic, guys. Thanks for joining us this week. Let's get to the work.
Despite the United States having the best women's soccer in the world, female players are still paid 19 times less than their male counterparts. On the surface, the issue was gender discrimination, but a closer look revealed that the issue was also economic. In 2019, the men's MLS had 8 times more sponsors than the women's NWSL. And as one of the only 3 NWSL sponsors, Budweiser wanted to change that. So in order to close the pay gap, we had to address the sponsorship gap. Budweiser introduces the future official sponsors of the NWSL. We made placeholder products for 9 of the biggest sponsorship categories in sports, everything from toiletries to timepieces. We used global soccer icon Megan Rapinoe to promote these products as if they were real, so brands could see what sponsoring the NWSL would look like. This work drove to an online marketplace where fans could pledge to purchase these products and then share on social by tagging the brands they wanted to see fill the vacancy. Starting a real conversation between fans and brands, showing potential sponsors the power of sponsoring the league. And by the time the 2020 season started, 6 new brands joined Budweiser as official sponsors of the NWSL. This campaign started to close the sponsorship gap and increased the NWSL salary cap by almost 20%. We no longer have to imagine what the future of women's soccer will look like, because the future is officially here.
Okay, Janelle, what was your initial reaction to that case study when you saw it?
So I love what they're trying to accomplish. My only question is, overall, we're talking about how many people are actually watching soccer and watching the sporting event. So ultimately, you're not going to keep your sponsors unless you're really showing the return on investment for brands. So I think that, it's great to bring more money to the industry. But ultimately, if they're not able to increase the audience that are watching it, I don't think that they'll sustain it. So I would have liked to see more about what they're doing to increase the interest so that they can actually keep the brands engaged.
It is unfair. They're getting paid less, but also it is a business. So you can't ask a league to match the salaries of this world league or these other bigger leagues which have more money. So it's very unfair. This idea not only is about the money that gives, but that money is going to empower the league to do a lot of things. Being able to have that influx of money will allow the league first to keep good players in the league, to create a league that didn't exist or was very small. I think that the idea was great. I think that it was such a cool and fun idea to bring brands in and to help that league grow, because everybody talks about they should be equal, but at the end of the day, it's a business and it's really hard to ask them to pay the salaries that competitive leagues are paying when they really are not that big.
I really like the style and the format that they chose. They matched that modern documentary style that we're used to. And I think that added a level of credibility. And for me, someone who doesn't watch soccer very much or know too much about the sport, it increased the weight that I felt when I was watching it. I also think it really helped that they have a fantastic story to tell here, and that they use the opportunity to educate people. And I felt educated. I felt like I learned something I could go and talk to other people about and be a little bit more knowledgeable. And so I think viewers can come away having learned something about the dynamics of women's sports and the dilemma there. And that could trigger, more conversation and sharing, which ultimately benefits the cause, the brand, the consumer. So overall, I applaud the work that they did, but I also like the way that they chose to tell the story.
Being cynical, do you think there's an overclaim here, or can Budweiser confidently say that every new cent that went into female soccer was from them?
I'm sure that the campaign contributed to the awareness. Whether they can claim all 19% of that growth, I think that might be a little bit of a stretch. But ultimately, it is a good cause. We do want to have more attention to female sports, and brands should take notice. But ultimately, I think it also needs to come with an increase of viewership.
Besides just pulling more sponsors, if they can really show the rest of the country really the lack of sponsors and the problem with it, the more they show that problem, maybe, the more you can start getting people also to ask brands and companies to get involved. Today, I think nowadays, more than ever, people are looking for relationships with brands. They're looking at brands for a lot more than just a product or a service. They're looking about where they're putting their money, how are they treating the environment, and sometimes even where their political stance as a business. At least here in the US and probably in the UK and in Mexico, all leagues are a business, for good or for bad. So if they can take advantage of that reality right now in the market, which is we consumers want more from brands and we'll ask more of brands, then maybe it can be a growing movement. So maybe instead of focusing on the brands and telling brands to join in, maybe tell that story to the people and ask people to pressure brands into pitching it.
Anytime that you're thinking from a business perspective, you're thinking a little bit more in the near term. So it doesn't surprise me that they went about it the way that they did. And I thought they did a pretty good job with the plan that they made, coming up with products that had nothing to do with beer and green labeling them, trying to get people to pick that up. So yeah, I think there's room for a grassroots movement. Certainly, is Budweiser the company or the organization to do that? Maybe they could take up that mantle, but I thought that they had a good idea. I thought it was well executed. And I do think that they probably, it's probably going to pay them some dividends, taking a leadership role like that. So,
Michel, what can the industry learn from this campaign?
I think that the learning point was that they were very strategic in how to solve a problem. And they really, I think, were very focused on what the problem was and how they thought they could solve it.
The grassroots already being there and kind of working on the top part. So it really is kind of getting them to join together and making sure that people are aware of the issue. And I applaud Budweiser for seeing the need and working to close the gap. And I'm really inspired to see what they do in the future to continue, right? Is this a here they did it, they're done, or will they continue to drive this space, right? They've put the effort in. Will they continue to put some effort? Did they see the results that they were looking for to do this and now they're done? Or will they continue noticing that the marketplace responded and continue to build?
So unfortunately, we're at the end of the show now. So I'm going to ask you to vote or give a score out of 5 using your fingers for the Budweiser activation. So on a count of 3, 3, 2, 1, 3, 4. That is a high score now for Budweiser. Congratulations to the Budweiser team. And Janelle, Blake, Michel, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all next week.